Anyways, this past week with 5 teams on bye, it wouldn't sound like a very dramatic one for the AAC, but 2 frontrunners survived potential spoilers, and 1 team capsized against the top 15 foe. The Owls' approach is attempting to put a dent in the old football saying, if you think you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have none. However, Coach Rod Carey doesn't think it's that big of a deal on the field. So they get those 2 4th and shorts. They kick the field goal on both of those, right? You end up with 6 points there. Let's say they go for it on both of those. They only get one of them. They end up scoring a touchdown that drive. You end up with 7 points. Now, my math, if it holds correct, 7 more than 6. Those types of possessions where you're down there, especially when you start possession on the 12-yard line, you got to be able to score that. If the Owls want another one of those logos on that wall, it's going to take a lot over the next 3 weeks. First up, back-to-back games against unbeaten ranked teams in Memphis and SMU, and then the 2-time reigning AAC champions in UCF come to town. Memphis came in averaging nearly 40 points a game, unbeaten and seeking bowl eligibility. And while the Tigers put up the most yards and points of any team against the Owls at the Link this season, Temple's big play defense stood tall once again when the game was in doubt. For our first segment of Ray's Plays, I'd take a look at Rose's top 5 dunks of his Temple career. At number 5, what's better than a royal flush? That's a 2-handed flush. He goes exploring to the rim, throwing it down through some LaSalle defensive pressure. That's some sophomore year Q for you. Now at number 4, every rose has its thorn, and that thorn was placed right into Tulsa's side here. The first of 2 dunks against them from a season ago. Take a look at that one-handed hammer. But the real stark number for me is in the first half of games on the road, they're allowing 19.3 points per game. At home, you remember, they were only allowing 11.8 points per game. Right. They're allowing more in the first half on the road than they are in a full game at home. The big fellas never quite get the love they deserve. However, the matchup in the trenches for this weekend's game between the Owls and Green Wave pit 2 premier units against one another. Personally, I'm going to go with Buffalo, and I'm going to do this because a school with about 20,000 undergrads, they've been on the rise over the past 2 seasons, making a bowl game. In both those games, they've beaten Temple twice during that stretch. They've beaten Rutgers. On Saturday, the Owls look to knock off an ACC opponent for the first time since 2011. Since that time, 3 former Owls coaches, Steve Adazio, Jeff Collins, and Manny Diaz have become head coaches in that conference. I would say Memphis still has a bit of a chance due to the hype with that impressive at Chunwa. That team, very talented. I thought that their win against ECU that probably would have came later today, that game against Tulsa probably would have ended up being more of a bracket bubble type of game. Winner probably moving on, loser probably just sticking it around in the NIT. Now, no chance that game's being played. There's a lot that's going to be decided, I would assume, with the way that the Ivy League handled their situation in canceling the tournament, giving it to the number 1 team in the conference, that you're going to see Cincinnati get the at-large bid. Again, that's an assumption. We don't have any information on that as of yet, but I would believe that Cincinnati is going to be the team at-large for the AAC.
Yeah, but that's...
"12 catches, 131 yards, a touchdown, and a major role in Temple's last win. But for Jaden Blue, it was just another Saturday for the redshirt sophomore. It's a season that almost never happened. Had it not been for a conversation between Blue and Rod Carey about rejoining the program last spring.
Me and Coach just sat down. He just told me he wanted me to take care of myself. He just wanted to know if I was all in, and I told him that I was. It wasn't much other than that. Coach Carey gave me a genuine vibe.
It's been so much fun to be around those two. The guy works that hard and has a great personality and laughs. That's awesome.
It's been an unlikely comeback. 7 games into last season, Blue left the team for personal reasons. He had only 3 receptions and was really a non-factor, but he never lost sight of his potential.
Because I could imagine it last year. Just even though I wasn't playing that much, you always got to know who you are at the end of the day, regardless of what things stay, whatever your stats are.
Jaden Blue's time away from the program gave him a new perspective and appreciation for the game he loves, which has helped fuel this breakout season.
Be humble, be appreciative of everything in life that God gives you, and don't take none of this for granted.
As for Blue's teammates, they could not be more thrilled for the team's leading receiver.
I love Blue. Blue is one of the most humble, hard-working guys I know. I love watching him play.
When Blue left, I was really hurt about that because that's who I lean on. It's really my brother. So we just have a strong
communication.
1 year ago, Blue's name was nowhere near the top of the leaderboard. Now, he stands to etch his name in Temple football's history books in just his second year of eligibility.
Joining us on desk is Outsports Update's Ray Dunn with more. Hey, Ray.
Thanks, guys. For the last 5 years, it's been a hot-button debate as to where Temple football will and really should play its home games. An organization that calls itself the Stadium Stompers has been vocal opponents of building an on-campus stadium, while community planning experts remain skeptical of its feasibility. I caught up with both to discuss Temple's future football home.
The Owls are staying put at their home away from home. Earlier this month, Temple football and the Philadelphia Eagles announced a 5-year contract with another 5-year option that allows the Owls to play at Lincoln Financial Field, their home since 2003. The deal seemingly puts a hold on plans to build an on-campus stadium. The most talked about proposal had it at the corner of Broad and Norris. With the Owls nesting in South Philadelphia for the foreseeable future, opposition to the on-campus stadium can claim victory, for now.
If we had not, pushed back, we feel the stadium would have already been here. People would have been displaced, and so much more would happen to the community and the neighborhood.
Yeah, from an ecological sustainability perspective, it's not the best use, right? You've got all this impervious coverage where rainwater doesn't go back into the ground as well, and tall buildings create wind tunnels and shadows.
Even with this new deal, it doesn't mean the on-campus debate is over. Less than 2 weeks ago, during an alumni event on campus, athletic director Pat Kraft said he's still pushing for an on-campus stadium.
5 years, even extends to 10 years. A lot of things can happen in between, and things can change. But I would like to see something sealed that says there will never be a stadium in the community.
Regardless of whether you are for or against, it will be at least another 5 years of Temple students commuting to football games.
We did reach out to Temple administrators in the athletic department and at the university level for comment, but both offices declined an interview. Reporting from the news desk, I'm Ray Dunn, and we will come back with a new edition of Join My Parliament when Outsports Update is right back.